All right, so ready to dive into a world that, well, inspired Machiavelli himself?
Always ready for a good deep dive.
This time, we are tackling Cesare Borgia,
The son of a poet?
a military leader, really carved his own path,
Through Renaissance Italy.
leaving a trail of, well,
Admirers?
and some enemies as well.
He's been called, well, everything.
Ruthless tyrant.
Brilliant strategist.
And today we unpack it all.
Unpack it all, yes. What I find really fascinating about Cesare Borgia is that, he was born into a family that, they knew how to play the game of power.
He really did.
The Borgias...
Originally from Spain.
Right. But they rose to prominence in the Italian political landscape.
Yeah.
And his father, Rodrigo Borgia, he became Pope Alexander VI in 1492.
That's right. And you would think, right, that being the Pope's son would guarantee a smooth ride to the top.
You would think.
But Cesare's story is anything but predictable. He started his career, as a cardinal, brilliant law student.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seemingly preordained path within the church.
Like he was following a script.
Right.
It was common, though, This was a common strategy for powerful Italian families back then.
Oh, really?
Think of it this way. It was a chess move.
Okay.
One son dedicated to the church.
Okay.
Another to the military.
Art.
They were maximizing their influence on both sides.
In both spheres, yeah.
Cesare's older brother, Juan, was originally groomed for that military role.
I see.
But fate,
Fate had other plans.
Fate always has other plans.
Right. So we've got a power-hungry family, a web of political intrigue, and now a hint of mystery surrounding this older brother. I'm already hooked.
Yeah, the plot thickens already.
But let's get back to Cesare. What prompted that shift, from cardinal to military commander?
Well, a few key factors. First, his father's position, the Pope. Immense political leverage.
Yeah.
Second, the political climate in Italy back then was crazy.
Yeah.
Constant warfare, shifting alliances, a strong military leader.
Invaluable asset, yeah.
Exactly. And let's not forget about Cesare's own ambition.
Right.
This was not a man content to sit on the sidelines, while others were shaping the destiny of Italy.
So he saw an opportunity and he seized it.
He did.
But this wasn't just some impulsive decision. he had a clear goal, a specific territory he wanted to control.
Absolutely. Cesare set his sights on the Romagna.
The Romagna.
A region in central Italy.
Okay.
Under papal control, but it was fragmented, lots of conflict.
Okay.
He envisioned himself as Duke of Romagna.
Duke of Romagna.
Uniting the region under his rule, a powerful dynasty.
Ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah.
But he wasn't about to win over the hearts and minds of the Romagna with charm alone. He needed those military victories, right?
He did.
And that's where his reputation comes from. This brilliant, maybe some would say ruthless strategist.
And he was a master. He knew how to use military might and diplomacy to get his goals. He understood intelligence gathering, strategic alliances, decisive action.
He wasn't afraid to use force.
When necessary.
When necessary.
But he also knew, and this is important, he knew how to win over local populations, promising stability, promising good governance, something the Romagna really needed.
They did, after years of conflict.
They did.
And this is where we meet one of the most fascinating figures, I think, in this whole story.
Caterina Sforza.
Caterina Sforza.
The ruler of Forli.
She basically told Cesare to back off.
Yeah.
Defied him, even when he besieged her city.
She was remarkable.
She really was.
Especially for that time. A woman rarely held positions of power, especially in the military sphere.
Right.
But she was known for her intelligence, her political skills, and her determination to defend her city and her people. Now, some of the stories, about her defiance, they might be a little embellished. But there's no doubt she was a challenge to Caesar's ambitions.
She was. She definitely wasn't going down without a fight.
Not at all.
But in the end, Caesar's forces did prevail. Fully fell.
They did.
What factors contributed to those military successes? Was it just brute force or was there something more?
He was more than just brute force. He was a shrewd strategist.
Okay.
He understood the importance of information. And, one of his key allies, Leonardo da Vinci.
Wait. Leonardo da Vinci?
Yes.
The artist? The inventor? What did he have to do with Caesar's military campaigns?
Well, Leonardo da Vinci, he wasn't just an artist and an inventor.
Right.
He was a skilled engineer.
Of course.
And a map maker. And for Cesare, accurate maps. I mean, that was a critical strategic advantage.
I can imagine.
Leonardo created a detailed map of Imola,
Imola.
another city in the Romagna, and that provided Cesare with information about the city's defenses, you know, allowing him to plan his attack.
That is incredible. It shows you that even back then, I mean, information
Information is power.
Information is power.
Yeah.
Just as valuable as any weapon on the battlefield.
Exactly.
But let's not forget that Cesare also had this reputation for ruthlessness.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid to eliminate his enemies, even if it meant, you know, resorting to some pretty brutal tactics.
It's true. To stay in power, he did use force.
Yeah.
Faced rebellions, conspiracies, and he dealt with them, you know, decisively.
Swiftly and decisively.
For example, after capturing the city of Cesana, he had several conspirators executed.
Oh, wow.
Right in the town square. It was a warning.
A message.
To anyone else.
So a bit of a mixed bag, this Cesare Borgia.
Mm-hmm.
A brilliant military mind, you know, patron of the arts, collaborating with Leonardo da Vinci, but also a man capable of great cruelty. It's no wonder his story it's captivated historians and storytellers for centuries.
Yeah.
But was he really that much more ruthless than other rulers of his time?
That's a good question. We have to remember that, you know, the Renaissance, it was a brutal period in history.
It was.
Assassination, betrayal, shifting alliances, that was just commonplace.
Commonplace.
In Italian politics. I mean, Cesare's actions, they might seem shocking to us now.
Sure.
But back then, in that context, I mean, they weren't entirely out of the ordinary.
Right. No, I see.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. We judge these figures, you know, through a modern lens. But we have to remember, look at the context of the time.
Right.
I mean, Cesare's rivals, the Orsini family, they were just as ruthless.
Wow.
Maybe even more so.
Okay.
The fight for power in Renaissance Italy was a high stakes game.
Yeah.
And the players, well, they weren't afraid to get their hands dirty.
So it really was a real life Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, these alliances constantly shifting.
It was.
Danger around every corner.
Absolutely.
But amidst all this political maneuvering, there's this personal tragedy that kind of hangs over Cesare's story.
Yes.
The death of his older brother, Juan.
The Duke of Gandia.
Juan's death in 1497, it remains one of the most intriguing mysteries of the whole Borgia story.
It does.
He was found dead in the Tiber River, multiple stab wounds, you know, immediately leading to those suspicions of foul play.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened? Was it political assassination? Was it a jealous rival? Or could there be even more to this story?
Well, the official investigation, they couldn't say for sure.
They couldn't.
No. Some people thought it was the Orsini family.
Ah.
You know, wanting to take out a Borgia. Some people pointed fingers at Cesare himself.
Oh, wow.
Fueled by those rumors of sibling rivalry and Sari's ambition.
Yeah. I mean, and the timing is certainly suspicious.
It is.
Happening so soon, you know, before Cesare's, this transition from the church to the military.
It is.
So what are the arguments for and against Cesare's involvement?
Well, on the one hand, Juan's death, it removes a potential obstacle for Cesare. It freed him up to pursue the military career, inherit the titles.
Right.
But then some historians argue that, you know, Cesare actually benefited from Juan being alive.
How so?
Well, Juan, he was popular. He was a successful military leader. His support would have only strengthened the Borgia's position.
So it's a puzzle with no easy answers.
Yeah.
And it just reminds us that history is often shrouded in mystery and speculation.
It is.
But this event undoubtedly impacted his trajectory, right?
Absolutely.
Propelling him further down this path of power and ambition.
It did. And as his star rose, so did his reputation.
Yeah.
You know, for brilliance, but also for brutality.
Of course.
And one particular story, the Banquet of Chestnuts. It's a symbol, I think, of the Borgia debauchery.
The Banquet of Chestnuts. I've heard whispers of this banquet. 50 courtesans dancing and chestnuts.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds a little too scandalous to be true. What's the real story?
Well, like many stories surrounding the Borgias, the truth is probably somewhere in between fact and exaggeration.
Yeah.
You know, the primary source is from the diary of a papal official.
Okay.
who didn't like the Borgias at all.
Right.
According to him, Cesare hosted this elaborate feast.
Yeah?
Courtesans dancing, competing to pick up chestnuts from the floor.
With their bare hands.
Yes, and let's just say things kind of got out of hand.
So it definitely paints a picture of a wild evening.
Yeah.
But how much can we trust, this account?
Right.
Was it really, just unbridled debauchery, or were the details, I don't know, embellished to further tarnish the Borgia's reputation?
Well, it's possible. I mean, fueled by the Borgia's enemies and just the whispers surrounding their family. But even if we don't take it at face value,
Right.
I think it serves as a reminder of how powerful stories are, how they shape perception.
Right.
So even if it's embellished,
It becomes part of their legend.
exactly, it reinforces this image of a family, consumed by power and excess.
It's fascinating how these stories, true or not, become just, intertwined with these historical figures.
Yeah.
And they really shape their legacies, for centuries to come.
They do.
But even amidst all the scandals, the intrigues, Caesar's power was ultimately dependent on one crucial factor.
His father.
The Pope.
His father being the Pope.
Alexander VI.
Caesar's rise to power. I was tied to Alexander VI.
Was.
And when the Pope died in 1503, Caesar's world was turned upside down.
So what happened when the man who paved the way, for Caesar's success was suddenly gone?
Right.
How did he navigate this sudden shift in the power dynamic?
Well, he was a skilled strategist,
Right.
but this was a formidable challenge.
Of course.
He tried to position himself
Yeah.
to influence the papal election,
Okay.
but his enemies, they saw an opening, they sensed weakness, they seized the opportunity to strike.
So who emerged victorious in this papal power struggle?
Yeah.
I mean, was Caesar able to maintain any influence, or was he completely sidelined?
Well, a new pope came in,
Okay.
Julius II,
Julius II.
and he was not a friend to the Borgias.
I see.
He saw Caesar as a threat,
Right.
a rival.
So the papal states.
Exactly. He had the backing of powerful families like the Orsini,
Oh, wow.
even foreign powers like Spain.
I see.
And he moved quickly to strip Caesar of his territories and titles.
Cesare went from, the son of the Pope, a man seemingly, destined for greatness, to a political outcast.
Yeah.
Stripped of his power base. it's a dramatic reversal.
It is.
What happened next? Did he just fade into obscurity?
Not exactly. Caesar, even in this moment, he was holding on to hope.
Okay.
He tried to resist, to rally those allies that he had left.
Yeah.
But the tide had turned against him.
It had.
He was forced to flee Rome.
Wow.
And he sought refuge in Naples first.
Okay.
And eventually he ended up imprisoned in Spain.
Imprisoned in Spain. What led to his capture and imprisonment so far from Italy?
Well, those Spanish connections.
Yeah.
Through his family.
Right.
It came back to haunt him.
Oh, wow.
The new Pope, Julius II, he wanted Cesare out of Italy.
Right.
Away from power.
Makes sense.
Spain, with its own interests in Italy, they saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
They could use him as a bargaining chip
A pawn, yeah.
in their own political game.
So Cesare went from this powerful prince in Italy to a prisoner in a foreign land. It's quite a dramatic fall.
It is.
But knowing Cesare, I have a feeling he wasn't about to stay locked up for too long.
Well, you're right. Even in captivity, Cesare, he was still ambitious.
Yeah.
He was resourceful.
Of course.
And he managed to escape.
Escape?
He escaped from that Spanish prison in 1506.
An escape from prison. This is like something out of an adventure novel.
It was quite a scene.
I bet. How did he pull it off?
Well, it was a planned operation.
Yeah.
Bribed guards,
Okay.
a rope ladder,
Wow.
a moonless night.
Of course.
Cesare, not to be underestimated.
No.
He lowered himself from his window
Wow.
and disappeared.
It's a testament to his resilience. His determination to fight, for his freedom, even when all hope seemed lost.
It is.
But escaping from prison, that's one thing. Rebuilding a power base from scratch.
Yeah.
That's another challenge altogether.
It is.
What were his plans once he was free?
Right.
Did he try to go back to Italy and reclaim his territories?
He did, but by then the political landscape had really shifted.
Yeah.
Pope Julius II, he had solidified his grip on power.
Okay.
And Cesare's former allies, they had either abandoned
Or
the
been
effort
neutralized, yeah.
or been neutralized.
So Italy was really a hostile environment for the exiled Borgia prince.
It was.
So what did he do? Did he just give up and live out his days quietly in exile? That doesn't sound like the Cesare Borgia we've come to know.
No, it doesn't. He fled to Navarre,
Right.
seeking refuge with his brother-in-law, King John III.
Okay.
John welcomed him into his court.
So from a powerful prince in Italy to a political refugee seeking a fresh start in Navarre.
It is.
Another dramatic turn in this very turbulent life.
It is.
Did he manage to find success in this new environment, or was he destined to just remain a shadow of his former self?
Well, he was still a skilled commander.
Right.
And he joined the Navarrese army.
Oh.
He led troops in various campaigns, and he proved himself on the battlefield. But his time in Navarre, it just, there was a sense of unfulfilled ambition.
Right.
You know, these battles, they were minor skirmishes. Compared to his grand conquests in Italy,
Right.
he was a warrior out of place, you know?
Yeah.
And his talents, his ambitions, just they seemed to exceed the opportunities available to him in this new setting.
It's almost a tragic figure, this Cesare Borgia. I mean, a man who had been on the cusp of achieving greatness, but now reduced to fighting in these minor conflicts, far from home.
It is.
Did he ever express any regret, for his past actions, for the choices that kind of led him to this point?
It's hard to know, what was going on in his mind during those final years.
Yeah.
But I think his actions suggest, a man driven by this unyielding desire to prove himself.
Yeah.
To find purpose,
Yeah.
to reclaim that sense of power.
Even if it meant fighting battles far from the center stage.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a reminder that even the most ambitious and powerful figures, they are not immune to the twists and turns of fate. But before we dive into Cesare's ultimate fate, there's one more aspect of his story that we need to address.
Okay.
The whispers.
The rumors.
The rumors that have followed the Borgia name for centuries.
Right.
The allegations of incest.
Yes.
The rumors of a forbidden relationship between Cesare and his sister Lucrezia.
It's a topic that's both captivating and controversial.
Yeah.
And it can't be ignored if we want to
Yeah.
truly understand the Borgia myth.
And its enduring power.
Yeah.
It's a topic that has piqued my curiosity for sure.
Sure.
I mean, the Borgia's incest, it's a story that has all the elements of a historical thriller.
It does.
But how much of this is based on fact, and how much is simply salacious gossip designed to, I don't know, tarnish their reputation?
That's the thing about the Borgias, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
separating fact from fiction, it can be incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Their enemies, they were masters of propaganda.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Spreading rumors, accusations to discredit them.
Right?
Undermine their power. And the rumors about Cesare and Lucrezia, I mean, they were especially effective.
Wow.
Because they played on, societal anxieties about morality, about family, about the abuse of power.
So let's delve into these rumors. Let's examine the evidence and try to untangle, the truth from the fiction.
Okay.
Join us as we continue our deep dive into the world of Cesare Borgia, exploring this very controversial chapter in his life and the enduring power of the Borgia myth. Okay, so we're back and it's time to address the elephant in the room, or maybe the scandalous whisper, in the halls of Renaissance history,
The rumors of incest.
between Cesare Borgia and his sister Lucrezia.
It's a topic that just won't go away.
It won't. It's fascinating and repellent even centuries later.
Yeah. The Borgias, I mean, they were already known for their ambition.
Ruthlessness.
And then these rumors, I mean, they just made them more intriguing or maybe more infamous.
Right. So let's get right to it. I mean, what were people saying about Cesare and Lucrezia? Was there any truth to it, or was it all just made up by their enemies?
We have to remember, the Borgias, they had a lot of enemies.
They did.
Rivals, they were eager to just exploit any weakness, any little crack in their image.
Of course.
And what could be more damaging, especially for a family so close to the church,
Right.
than accusations of incest.
Yeah. A scandal like that could completely undermine their authority, their influence. But were there any specific incidents or events that that really fueled these rumors, or was it just, general gossip and innuendo?
Well, there were a few things that their enemies, really jumped on.
Okay.
For example, Lucrezia, she had a child in 1498,
Okay.
a son, Giovanni,
Okay.
and the father, well, it was never clear.
Oh, I see.
Some whispered it was Cesare, pointing to the timing of the child's conception and just the secrecy surrounding the birth.
I could see how that would raise eyebrows. A secret child, especially in such a powerful family, I mean, it would naturally lead to speculation. But was there any evidence, to support these claims?
No, not really. No concrete evidence was ever found to prove that Cesare was the father.
I see.
There were other possible fathers,
Right.
including Lucrezia's husband at the time, Giovanni Sforza.
Okay.
But he was later forced to annul the marriage.
Oh, wow.
And he claimed impotence to protect his own reputation.
Right, of course.
It was messy,
Yeah.
full of political maneuvering, whispers,
Intrigue.
but no real proof of incest.
So it sounds like a tangled web, really, of accusations and denials and everyone trying to protect their own interests. But even without any, concrete evidence, the damage, I mean, it was done to their reputation.
It was. The rumors, they stuck.
Became part of their legend.
Exactly. Because that's the thing about a story, a scandalous story. It's powerful.
It is. It's really powerful.
And the Borgias, whether or not, they were victims of these smear campaigns, or if they were, guilty of the things they were accused of,
Right.
they became the symbol, of moral corruption.
To a lot of people.
It's interesting to think about, the role of gossip and rumor in shaping how we think about history.
It is.
It's like a game of telephone, right? Where the story just gets distorted with every retelling.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond those rumors, what was their relationship actually like? Cesare and Lucrezia. I mean, were they as close as some say?
I mean, they were close. They were undoubtedly close.
Yeah.
They wrote affectionate letters.
Okay.
They supported each other's, ambitions, and they were seen together, publicly. But we have to remember, the context.
Back then, familial affection, even between siblings, it wasn't the same as today. It was more demonstrative.
So maybe their closeness was just misinterpreted.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, their enemies could have easily twisted it,
Yeah.
to fit this more scandalous narrative.
It's a reminder that we can't always look at, historical figures through a modern lens.
Yeah.
What seems scandalous to us today, well, back then it might have been completely acceptable.
Exactly.
It's tough, though, to separate the truth from the myths.
It is.
To see past all the gossip, all the speculation, and really understand these individuals as they were.
Yeah.
But that's part of what makes history so fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
It's this constant quest to uncover the truth, to put together those fragments of the past.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle.
It is.
And sometimes the pieces don't fit.
They don't. But in the case of the Borgias, I mean, I think it's important to at least consider the possibility that they were victims of this propaganda.
Absolutely.
That the rumors of incest, they were just a tool.
A tool.
Used to discredit them and to undermine their power.
Exactly.
So what's the final verdict on Cesare Borgia? I mean,
Yeah.
was he this ruthless tyrant?
Yeah.
A brilliant strategist?
Yeah.
A victim of circumstance? Or maybe a bit of all three?
He was complicated.
Who was?
A product of his time, but also a man who defied easy labels.
Yeah.
He was ambitious. There's no doubt about that.
He was.
Ruthless,
At times.
but also capable of great strategic thinking.
Political maneuvering.
Patron of the arts.
A military leader who really achieved incredible things in a short amount of time. But his legacy, it's always going to be tied to those scandalous rumors about his family.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that history is rarely, black and white.
It isn't.
Human beings, I mean, they're complex. They're capable of great things and terrible things.
Yeah.
And the more we learn about the past, the more I think we realize that the stories that we tell ourselves, well, they're just as much about us, about our own anxieties and preoccupations.
And that's the power of a deep dive like this. I mean, it's not just about finding the facts.
Right.
It's about exploring those gray areas, those different perspectives.
Absolutely. It's about challenging our assumptions. you know,
Questioning the narrative.
recognizing that even the most infamous figures,
They can be complicated.
they can
They
be.
can have those hidden depths and contradictions.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we successfully navigated the treacherous and fascinating world of Cesare Borgia.
I think so.
We explored his military triumphs,
His political schemes.
his relationships, and the myths that have really shaped his legacy.
It's been a journey.
It has. It's been a journey full of twists and turns and enough intrigue to keep us thinking for years to come.
And you know what's amazing?
What's that?
Even after all this time, Cesare Borgia, he still fascinates us. He embodies those contradictions of the Renaissance.
The brilliance,
Ambition, ruthlessness,
beauty.
darkness.
Yeah.
I mean, his story just reminds us that the past, it's never really past.
It's not.
Its echoes, they're still with us.
They are.
And the search for truth, well, it's an ongoing process.
It
It's a
is.
journey without a final destination.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we invite you, our listeners, to continue the exploration.
Yeah, dive in.
Delve into those sources, challenge the narratives, and come to your own conclusions about Cesare Borgia and his place in history, because that's the beauty of history. It's this endless journey of discovery.
It is.
A constant invitation to learn, to question, and to reimagine the world around us.
And who knows, maybe you'll uncover something new, a different perspective.
A hidden detail.
Something that sheds new light on this really enigmatic figure.
It's true. The more we learn about the past, the more we understand about ourselves and the forces that shape our present. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into this fascinating world of history. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those curiosity gears turning. And remember, the past, well, it's never truly past. It's just waiting to be rediscovered.